Hello and welcome to the How to Play Keeper's Dissension. In this video I'm going to be showing you how to set up the game. I will be using Tabletop Simulator that you can find in Steam and download, but these rules will actually work for the board game itself that'll later come out in February on our Kickstarter. So whatever I'm teaching you here will also work for the board game. I'm just using this program that's really handy for showing you how to do things pretty quickly and easily. So you can actually download this on the Steam Workshop. Just look up Tabletop Simulator. You have to buy that, and then there will be a mod of Keeper's Dissension that you can play this game on and try it out. Alright, so what I'm going to do in this video is show you how to set up, and the first thing we want to do is both players want to get their Life Force cards, their Keeper cards, and their Guardian cards, and we're going to set them up on the mat. Now as you can see, on the mats there's a designated spot for the Life Force. So we're going to take our Life Force and we're going to set it right on that spot. And the same for my opponent. My opponent is just a dummy player I set up, so I'll set it up for him. His Life Force, my Life Force. And now we're going to take our die, and we're going to set the red die on the Life Force row, on the Life Force card, and we're going to set it to 15. So you can right-click it in Tabletop, right-click the die and set it for 15. That's how much health our Life Force has. Now we're going to put our Guardian on the Guardian post. Now make sure he's the chained side of the Guardian card, because this card's got two sides. You've got the Unchained and the Chained. And that's very important to this game. After all, this game is called Keeper's Dissension Unchained. Alright, now I've got my Guardian in his place. I'm going to get my opponent's Guardian in his place. She's got a snow guy that looks pretty cool. Now we're going to set our blue die on the Guardians. The blue die is going to be set to 10. That's how much the Guardian's going to have. 10 health. So he's set to 19 right there. That's not going to work, buddy. And let me grab his die. Alright, so now I've got his Life Force to 15, his Guardian to 10. Now I'm going to grab my Keeper, and I'm going to put him on any spot I want on the Life Force row. I'm going to set him right there. And now he's just going to grab his and set him anywhere he wants. Alright, so now we've got our three pieces set up where we want them. Now the next part is we're going to find out who goes first. And now this is important to the rest of our setup to find out the first person to go first. So I'm going to take just a die. You're just supposed to roll any die. I'm going to grab my Guardian's die and roll it and see, okay, I got a, whoa, it's going off the board. I got a 20, which is pretty sweet, and then he's going to get an 11. So I'm going to go first. Let me reset that back to 10. So I am going to go first, which means he's going to set up his wall on this wall row. So both walls are themed to the deck, to their faction. So the snow guy's got his own snow walls here, and my future guys have their own future wall. But since I'm going first, he's going to put up his walls. So we're going to put up 7 walls in the wall row. Now the wall row is right where these mats meet. You can see where the joining mats are. They make up one space. So, which is pretty cool because that means for later when we do more factions, the mats will have different variety and where they meet, different things will be going on at the walls, what the walls do. There's great potential to this game and what we can do with it. Alright, so now that we've set up the wall, now what we're going to do is the first player is going to pick his minions. Now there are 7 minions over here on this graveyard. So where these minion cards are, it's called your graveyard. I'm going to pick 5 out of the 7. Now I'm just going to pick the first random ones right now. There's really no rhyme or reason to what I'm doing for right now. But later I'm going to explain to you what each of these minions do. They all have different abilities to them. But I'm going to pick 5. Now there's 2 left over. These 2 are later available to me in the game that I can buy. And I'll show you how to do that later. But first we're going to set it up. So I set up my 5 minions, got my Life Force and my Guardian. Now my opponent will respond with setting up his minions. So he grabs his, he's like, oh, I'm going to set this one up right here because it's super important. And he's got some evil strategy that I'm just going to totally destroy later, I'm sure. Alright, now, so now we've got the board set up how we want on the mats. Now, over here, in this, where these tokens are, this is our economy right here. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up 10 white ones and 2 blue ones. This equals 20 strange matter tokens. The blue ones are worth 5, the white ones are worth 1. Now that's important to have 20 in the middle because that's our economy and what's going to be available to us to buy things later on in the game. Alright, now we've got our economy set up, we've got our board set up, now we've got these cool Keeper ability cards that we're going to deal out to each other. Okay, so I'm going to right click it and do deal. Oh, my phone just went off. I'm going to right click and go deal. So if you right click and do deal, it'll immediately just give a card to each player. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm going to deal 7 cards to each player. So now I've got my 7 down here, and now Sword Guy's got his 7 right there. And as you can see, I can't see what he has. There's a question mark, so his cards are hidden from me, but my cards I can see. By pressing Alt, I can zoom up on them, and oh, look at that, vulnerable. Ooh, I've got some nice cards there. Now these are going to be playable to me later on. Alright, so we've dealt out the cards. Now we're going to take 3 cards from the top of the deck. So 1, 2, and put them at these shared card spots. So you see where this says shared card? Put them right there. So now there's going to be 3 here. Now what that is, these 3 are available to me and my opponent. So it's basically like these are both in our hands. They're both accessible to us, but the first person to buy one gets it. But we'll get to that a little bit later. Alright, so now we've set up the board, we've set up the economy. Now we want to make sure our cards down here are set up nice. So what we're going to do is, we set up, when we did our Life Force health and our Guardian health, we set up for 10 and 15. Now the Keeper, if you look at the Keeper's card, and you look at the bottom right, it says his speed is 1, his range is 1, his damage is 1, and his HP is 5. So we want to set his health to 5. And the way to track that is this health tracker down here. And your Keeper's health tracker has 7 spots on it. You say, well, hold on now. You just said he has 5 health. Yes. So you start with 5 health, which we're going to keep track with this red little token. But later in the game, you can actually get up to 7 if you use your cards right. And there's some abilities in here that affect that. So that's important to know. But you will both start at 5 for your Keeper. Alright, now over here you've got these little tokens that you can look over with your mouse. It'll say Deliver, Effects Tracker, and Stun. These are important to track effects later in the game that you can do to each other or to yourself.